Hi guys, Samantha from Jessama Tutorials here, and today I'm going to be showing you a cool variation on a Skinner Blend plug cane. So to start, we're going to need to create a Skinner Blend bullseye cane, and you're going to need a log of white and a sheet of black Primo for that. You can use any brand of clay you like to use though. So a log of Primo, I would say, is roughly around, let's see, about 1.5 centimeters in diameter, and it doesn't matter how long it is, that is completely up to you. And then I have a sheet of black Primo that's been rolled out to about 2 millimeters thick. And all we're going to do is we're just going to take our blade, quickly trim this up, pop that back in your black pot. And then we're just going to wrap that black around, roll until you reach the other end, gently roll up against it so that you get this mark, showing you where to trim. Put the excess away and roll that up, and then just press that together. Okay, now I want to reduce this down quite a bit until each piece is around, I'd say about, until this is about 3 millimeters in diameter. So I'll just start like this to begin with. Just reduce down the ends because that's where the waste is going to be. And then I'll just roll it on the tile. Then you can give it a stretch, you can give it a roll. Just reduce it down until the diameter of the cane is about 2 to 3 millimeters in diameter. Okay, and now I've got a nice long strip that is about this size. So just put that off to the side, and we will use that later on. Now we want to create some Skinner blends. So you're going to need a block of white, and I'm using all Primo in this tutorial. You can again use any brand you want, you can use any colours you want, but I just wanted to let you know that I am using Primo. Okay, so I'll just cut that down to size. Then I'm going to be using with this one some turquoise, which I will trim to size, and I'm also using some blush, and that's just the colour name. Essentially, in so many words, it's just pink. So, and I'll trim that one to size too. And there we go. So there are our two Skinner blends. So now what you're going to do is you're just going to take this, and I've done a Skinner blend tutorial already in quite a bit of depth. So if you want to go and watch that, I have a link to that in the description below the video. You can check that out. But basically, the gist of it is that you're going to take this and you're going to roll it through from this end through your pasta machine. So you lengthen it like so, and then you're going to fold it, and you always fold it the same way. And the way you remember which way to fold is you should have a solid bit of colour on one side and a solid bit of colour on the other side. If you fold it this way, you can see you have two different colours on the side that you're going to be putting it through the pasta machine. So you always want one solid colour. And then you roll it through again, like so, fold and roll, and just repeat until you get a nice smooth blend, which should be in about, I'd say about 20 rolls. Right, and here are our blends, all nice and smooth. And here's the other one. Okay, so now what we're going to do is just going to fold that in half again, like so. Just squish up the ends and make sure it's one solid bit of clay. Okay, and then you're going to run this through, and this time you're going to be lengthening this. So instead of rolling it from this side to this side, you can be rolling it from this side to this side. Again, through the thicker setting. Like so. Then take it down to about your middle setting and roll again. And if you get some muck on here, we can tend to that. Very easy to clean that up. Then I'm going to take it down 1, 2 more settings and I'll run that through. Okay, and there we go. So let me just start from the beginning and show you. So here's the blue running all the way through to pink. Okay, I've just got that to the side. Put your other Skinner blend off to the side. We're not going to use that right this moment. And now we're going to start creating our our cane, our Skinner blend plug of sorts. So all you're going to do is you're just going to fold like so, and I'd say every 3 folds, so you've got 3 there, bring over your piece that you have here and cut a length, and I'm going to just cut 3 so that I can just show you. Okay, so just cut a length, insert it in, and then continue folding. And then it's important to try to keep the air bubbles out. It's a little hard because of this, but try your best to avoid as many air bubbles as possible. And then fold another 3 or more. It really depends on you how many folds you want to do. And I'll insert another one. And I'll just continue up the entire length until I've finished my Skinner blend plug. And I'll show you how it looks when it is done. Okay, here's what it looks like. So now what we want to do is we want to just gently shape this up, get rid of these folds. So just use your roller, gently press against each of the sides, just to gently make it into a more sharp rectangle shape. Okay, and then with the other one I'm going to show you a slightly different variation. This is one way you could do it. I'm going to do another one. Okay, there we go. Okay, just getting that into the right shape. Alright, and then before we slice this, I'm going to just let it rest, and I'm going to create the other cane while this rests. So bring this one on over, and this one we're going to do slightly differently. So I'm going to fold that in half, I think. Okay, so I'll just fold that in half, press it along these edges. Okay, so then what I want you to do is I want you to start shortening your blend. So that instead of it being lengthened like it was before, we want to lengthen the entire blend so that we have more of it. So just do that by squishing the sides. Like so. Then we're going to run that through our pasta machine on the thickest setting. So, then run it down to about 1 millimeter thick. There we go. Okay, and I just did a little bit there that I need to shave off. Okay. Then get rid of any air bubbles that you might see. Okay. Alright, and now what we're going to do is we're going to chop it into sections. So I'm just going to get rid of that bit. Trim out a few, like so. And then you're going to take these and I want them to be the same length as these pieces. Gonna add one there and one there. Let's grab another one and maybe one up here. Then bring over the next one, there over the top, press in, so, and then those extra spots, then we'll add some other ones and just continue repeating this process like so until you've used up your entire Skinner blend putting these in. So just pop them in, lay another one over, press down to make sure you get rid of the air bubbles as much as possible. You're never going to get rid of all of them, but you'll get rid of most of them. And then lay another one in and just repeat. Okay, and here is how it should look. Now all I want you to do is gently press along these sides, like so. And just start reducing it. Like so. Okay. And I just want to reduce it enough that I can cut out a piece to show you. So I'll continue playing around with it and getting it to reduce down. You can even use your roller to get it to go. And then once it's reduced, then I will cut a piece of the previous cane that we made to show you, and then I'll also cut a piece of this so you can see the difference. It's basically very similar techniques. You're basically just using a Skinner blend and some bullseye canes, but you're creating slightly different techniques to create slightly different effects, but they're both just as easy as each other, they're very effective, and they look great. Okay, so that's been reduced. I'm going to pop that to the side to rest, and let's cut this one and see how it looks. And now you want a nice sharp blade to do this. Cut down one side, cut down the other side, and here is what they look like. So you can see both sides look really nice. And now if that doesn't look quite complicated enough for you or busy enough for you, what you can do is you can always just gently reduce this, and I'll show you how to do that quickly. Just reduce it. It should not take too long to do that. Just reduce so that you can cut it in half. And you actually have two options when it comes to that. Okay, that should be reduced enough, and I'm just going to cut into two. Now you have two options. You can either put it together like so and have a cane that looks somewhat like that, or you can just double the amount in your Skinner blend. So I think I'm going to do it that way, and then I'm going to reduce it again, and I'll put it together the other way so that we have pink going out to blue again. So just press that together. So this is how you can create really quite complex looking canes with some very simple canes. So this is still something that beginners could very easily do. Any of you who's starting in canes, feel confident in this. Very easy, very organic, but it comes out with a really stunning, quite complex look that will impress your friends and will make you feel good about yourself. You don't have to do landscape canes to get a cane that looks complicated and effective. And just trim up these edges, and these edges are always good to use in leftover clay techniques. That's a very effective way of using them. Cut it in half. Then before you put them together, just square it up because this one twisted a little bit while I was reducing. And then you can see that looks quite nice as it is. Then you can either put it together with the blue side, or you can put it together with the pink side. Personally, I prefer the blue. Now it doesn't have to line up, it's not going to create a perfect kaleidoscope look because they haven't been placed perfectly. But do try to line it up as best you can. Okay, there we go. Then just gently press that together. You can use your roller to just stick it together. I wouldn't really make it much smaller than it is. I just want to use the roller to press it together and get rid of any air bubbles. And just basically just stick everything together. And so we basically went from something very simple, very easy to make, to something in a few steps that looks quite complicated and difficult to make, but is also very easy to create. And so it's just a little bit more busy. It's not supposed to look precise. You can see that everything is not lined up perfectly. It's not meant to line up perfectly. It's supposed to look kind of like little sesame seeds inside a Skinner blend, but you can see it looks really quite pretty. And all these little bits of leftovers, keep those. They make great leftover effects. Check out my leftover clay playlist. I'll have a link to that in the description below to see a bunch of different ways to use these. Okay, and now this one should be rested enough for us to have a look. So I'll just cut and cut. Okay, and I've got a little bit more trim because of distortion. There we go. Here is how it looks. So you can see it looks a lot more busy, a lot more interesting than the other one looked at the beginning, but you can see they both look very pretty. This one is my personal favourite because I like the way it kind of gets these wavy lines in it. I wonder if you can pick that up on the camera. You can see those wavy lines. It's a little bit more time consuming, this one though. Just trying to get rid of any bits that aren't quite right. And now this, and this one as well actually, if you wrapped a little bit of silver or white or black just around it and then moulded it into a petal shape, it would create a really fun cane to start as a petal. You could see that this would look really nice as a petal cane. And then from there you could create a flower cane and create some really nice, complex, interesting looking canes from something that's very simple to create. So for those of you who are beginners and are watching this, don't feel discouraged. A lot of complex canes are made up of some very basic key techniques that you learn as a beginner, and then they're just kind of manipulated, duplicated and moulded into a bunch of different shapes. Pressed back together again, stretched out, pressed back together again in specific shapes and forms, and you can end up with something very complicated from something that is very simple. So I hope that this tutorial was helpful to you. It was quite fun. It just shows you two different ways you could use Skinner blends and bullseye canes, two of the basic techniques you learn as a beginner. So feel free to play around with it, and keep in mind that any leftovers that are left over, we didn't actually get too many leftovers, but these are going to make some great leftover projects, and I will be doing that in the near future. I'll be creating some leftover clay projects. Let me know in the comments if you would like to see projects or just techniques showing how to use those leftovers. Let me know in the comments below. And if you would like to support this channel, please do consider becoming a patron on my Patreon community. You get exclusive tutorials there for patrons only. Once you sign up on a level, you get to see everything that's ever been posted on that level and under that level. And that basically equivalents to about 200 or more video tutorials if you sign up on the highest level, and it's growing continually every single month, so be sure to check that out. You also get discounts to my Etsy shop for cutters, polymer clay supplies and tools, so check that out, as it always helps this channel continue making free tutorials every single week. So please do check that out, and as always, I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye for now.